One thing you do when you come in, take a good whiff, see if you smell anything interesting, from pets to dead bodies. But you know,
smells can be both good and bad.
Right.
Motivation. That's right.
Welcome to Will Motivation. Holla.
Hey. Got the Realtor Rich there.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing? So a lot of people ask what's the process once you hear about a rental property. What's the process for checking it out? What do you look for? And that kind of thing. So we're going to kind of go through that process because this is actually a real property that I'm considering that I got via email from my realtor. So the first thing you look at for me, you know, and this is besides the actual research that you're gonna have to do on the neighborhood and everything, but the actual physical. So this is the neighborhood. This is the neighborhood. So as you can see, I'm considering this as a rental property. So as you can see, I'm thinking, what is my tenant gonna think when they come through here? And so there's a couple houses like these over there that are not that appealing. So, you know, something to keep in mind when you put a value on this house. So let's look at the house. Most of the video is going to be of the house and what we see, and less of me. But we're looking at the condition of the house. This is siding. It's not hardy plank or anything fancy. I would probably come through and paint, make the house look a little nicer. Not a lot of landscaping to do, so that's good. But let's go take a look inside. So one thing you do when you come in, take a good whiff, see if you smell anything interesting, from pets to dead bodies. But you know,
smells can be both good and bad.
Right.
Getting rid of cat smells, for example, very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Getting rid of dog smells or getting rid of just a smoke smell or something like that means money. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people don't want to deal with it. But once you know how to abate those things, a lot of people will walk in, smell it, they're out the door.
Right.
And now you walk in and you're like, I smell money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've done one house, one of my best investments. Rich and I walked into the house and it smelled horrible to the point where you could barely breathe in the house. And we got the house for super cheap. It was like 25 grand. Exactly. And it's super nice now. So one thing I'm noticing, somebody took the time out to put, I don't know how new the flooring is, but they made an effort.
It appears to be brand new. This particular deal is an estate, so the people who are selling it are settling up an estate. Mm-hmm. Someone passed away. Mm-hmm. And so depending on the situation, depends on what people are going to do. They obviously have come in,
right.
They put a fresh coat of paint on the walls. My guess is with this flooring that they put down some new flooring. The granite countertops appear to be brand new.
Oh, granite. So they kind of did I don't know if it's DIY or whoever, but they put granite in. So they put an effort. And one thing I'm going to say is that historically, I've never purchased an investment property that was already rehabbed or even attempted rehab, I don't think. So I was just looking at the pictures online. I was like, maybe it looks like somebody put an effort towards.
A good deal is a good deal.
Right.
No matter how much work is needed.
Yeah.
And a good deal is defined by what your goals are.
Right.
So let's say you want to make a whole bunch of cash up front. Sure, you need something where you can add equity value. Mm-hmm. If, on the other hand, your goal is to do cash flow, then you look at a lot of other factors. Your cash flow could actually be negatively impacted by having to do the repairs that are going to take 3 months, let's say. a good deal, the evaluation of it, and we can do a tutorial maybe, where I've got a spreadsheet that I plug things into.
Yep, me too.
And I take into account what the client's goals are. So let's say the client's goal is, look, I'm okay with cash right now. I don't need anything. What I'm looking for is long-term, I want to retire on this money. That's a whole different calculation than I need 10 grand in 6 months.
Pulling off a flip or something.
Right. So if the client's goal is to make a lot of money up front, then we're looking for flips.
Right.
But one of the worst things you can do for cash flow over the long term is to continually be taking your time and plugging into the deal you're doing. Doing flips, you can go and buy something from China and turn around and sell it on the web and make a profit. You can buy a house, you can put work into it, sell it on the market and make a profit. It's the same premise. Where when you're looking at rental real estate, it's a whole different calculation because you're looking at ways to build wealth.
Right.
Doing flips is a way to get rich. Building real estate in a rental format is a way to build wealth, and there's a difference there. Someone who makes $300,000 a year is rich. Someone who makes $300,000 a year and doesn't work is wealthy. So that's what my definition of wealth versus rich.
And his name is Rich. No, so, all right, so when you mentioned building wealth, one thing that popped into my head was, I don't think there's a light here, but maybe it's manual. All right, so we've got, what do you call it, a back porch?
Yeah, they've got the laundry set up out here.
Oh, okay, laundry.
Okay. So you could improve this house by putting in some type of
shelving
folding area or some type of
yeah.
area to hang, something like that. Also setting up shelving for storage.
So this used to be outdoor space, didn't it?
Right, this is garage.
Okay.
They just put a wall in.
Oh, okay. For the garage, they had a sort of a deeper garage.
The garage is right here.
Okay.
So like your truck's not gonna fit in this garage.
Yeah.
But most cars will.
Got a few plungers that might tell us a hint. That may give us a hint. So this is laundry hookup.
Back or around the house?
Let's go ahead and get the inside. Then on the way out, we'll get the outside. So what I'm thinking is it does have a garage, does have a washer. It has a washer dryer hookup. But usually for me, I'm looking less at, okay, you look at the house for what you're gonna come out of pocket, but you look at the neighborhood at what the potential is for your investment. And so for me, I'm thinking about, yeah, we can fix the house up and we can crunch numbers on that to get an offer price, but heavily is going to be the neighborhood. What would make for a good offer, is what I can rent for in this neighborhood, and then do I have an exit plan one day or not?
So real important, and this is for someone who's doing a flip, clean up the appliances, or if you replaced them, make sure that you can see that they've been replaced. So like in this particular case, you've got a newer furnace. You can tell that just by the model that it is. It's just something you learn from experience. The water tank appears to be brand new. There's no
rust or corrosion.
No corrosion at all on that. So it appears to be brand new. Another thing to see how things are maintained.
Yeah, you can check the air filter.
Just take a quick look at the air filter. Like this air filter's got a little bit of dirt on it, but it's not too bad.
And it's got a little service thing on there of March of like a year ago.
But just a little insider's trick, if you pull that filter and it's caked full of stuff, that fan motor has been running like that.
Burning it up.
And it'll burn it up.
Yeah.
And it'll cost you a lot of money in the end. Also, if you're getting ready to sell your house, you make sure that these things are taken care of, cleaned up. Sometimes you'll want to get in there and clean up condenser units and things. because it makes all the difference in the world on that home inspection.
This was how many bedrooms?
This is 4.
So I'm seeing 2 down here.
It's 3, and then it's got a big loft that's easily converted.
I didn't see the stairs.
Yeah, they're up front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there, and then what is it? 1 bathroom or 2 bathrooms?
2 baths.
So look at the little remodel that they did here. I mean, it looks okay. Have to probably come through and try everything out, you know. But this is sort of a first look at things, but I would want to kind of take a second look probably. Considering this is not a HUD home. If it's a HUD home, I just kind of like take the first look, give it my best shot at an offer. Oh, okay, okay, stairs right there.
Well, when you're looking at a home that's already done,
I'll get that backlighting.
you basically are presuming that the home is going to be ready to be rented the minute you close on it. Mm-hmm. Okay. When you're looking at a home that's going to be fixed up, the rule of thumb is presume it's broke. Yeah. Unless it's proven to work.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because I don't want to take that for granted that people know that. But Rich and I have done a lot of deals where I bought homes from HUD, which is as is, where is, and all that good stuff. So I assume that a lot of things are broken, and I make an offer based on having to fix stuff and having a contingency plan. But this scenario will be a little bit different because this is not a HUD home. This is an estate sale. So
this is the loft in this house. It hasn't been really updated. You still have this older paneling, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's still in great shape.
It's a nice sized room.
The things I look at are whether the windows have been replaced, because when you go to rent this place, that makes a big difference to someone who's been in a drafty house before.
Yeah.
Another big thing to look at is the roof. This particular roof, you can see from this window, the shingles are just starting to fade out. There's a little bit of moss growth and things like that. So you're probably looking at about 5, maybe 6 years before there's going to need to be a roof on this. Mm-hmm. Now you can extend that by just a couple of maintenance things. Mm-hmm. But when you're calculating your cash flows, you're going to have about $3,500, $4,000 in a roof in about 5 years.
Yeah.
So you got to calculate that into your cash flows accordingly.
Yep.
That's what's commonly referred to as capital expenditures. CapEx is what we refer to it in the real estate business. So your CapEx, if you know you've got a capital expense coming up, then you can calculate it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just set aside money for when it comes up.
Right, which has been my main this has been my main strategy dealing with some of these houses, but you got to be more careful the older the house is, in my opinion, and this would be on the older end of my investment portfolio. So this is considered a bedroom.
This
here
is third bedroom, then that loft is considered a fourth in the way that it's calculated from the auditor.
Okay.
If it was me, I'd wall that off, put a closet in it, and you've got a full 4-bedroom home. Mm-hmm. You've got the bath on the second floor, which people are going to like. That room over there could be the master. There's a room downstairs that could be the master. So when you're looking at the potential of maybe a multi-generational family, where you've got the parents are living with the kids or the kids are living with the parents, this is a great house for that. If you're looking at, this is kind of a universal. It's a Cape Cod kind of average neighborhood for Columbus. So this is kind of a universal rental. Plus it's in that affordable range. I mean, rentals in Columbus run all over the map, but this particular area is a good value for both rentals and for the value of homes. So when you find that little sweet spot, that where you get value that meets up with demand, meets up with all of those things together. If you have a house that rents for $8,000 a month, there's only so many people that can afford that. This house is going to rent anywhere from $1,200, $1,300 a month, the way Will puts them together, he might be able to get a little bit more. I mean, he does a really, really nice job with his houses, so he's able to get a premium rate, and he gets more demand because everybody wants to rent from him.
And, yeah.
So that's Will's strategy at going after things. Other people would look at this and say, okay, how can I keep my expenses rock bottom and get the maximum amount of cash flow? There's arguments to be made on both sides of that.
Right.
It depends on what your goal is.
Right. For me, reason why I like to make mine really nice and be at the top end is just from a branding and word of mouth. So it's a strategy thing for me, and what I'm comfortable with doing.
Well, I mean, you've got
and the type of clients I'm trying to go after.
Plus, you've got a waiting list, right, for people who want your properties.
Yeah, usually there's.
So your vacancy rate is going to be lower than someone who's just scraping by.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, there's pluses and minuses to both approaches. When you told me what your strategy was the first time that we actually talked about it, I thought you were crazy. But now that I've seen it in action, man, I mean, it's unconscious the amount of money that Will actually saves by putting just a little bit more money in it up front.
Right, and my philosophy has been to mitigate the risk of the fluctuation of the market. Be prepared to flip or to rent in every endeavor. So let's say I set out to flip something. I want to keep my budget low in case I have to rent it. But if I set out to rent something, I set the finishings to a level where if I have to sell it, it'll look nice enough to sell.
Okay, in any real estate environment, there are two houses that are going to sell. The best house and the best value house. Same thing with the rentals. The best rental is going to rent, and the best value rental is going to rent. So when you're looking at your strategy, your cash flows may be sky high on a property as you look at it, but then if the market takes a turn for the worse, then you have to calculate what your worst case scenario is. So if you're a really, really hot market and you're pulling, let's say, $1,400, $1,500 a month, then the market takes a turn south, and now all of a sudden you don't have a nice property. Now you're looking at about $900, $950 a month, then that's going to be a problem. Or if your property sits vacant, it's going to be a problem.
You want to take a look outside?
Yeah.
I think we got another investor potentially coming to take a look. All right, so there's central air. Looks like a newer AC unit. Newer, relatively speaking. Really nice big backyard. Funny thing is, I know this area because I went to middle school over there, and I haven't been over here in years. But nice size yard. Got a little shed. Neighbor's house looks nice. But there's a basement in here or no?
No basement on this one. It's got slab.
Okay.
So you don't have any foundation issues.
Okay.
But you don't have the storage.
Right, and you got to make sure all that underground piping is working correctly.
So you've got 2 storage units out here. Which
little sheds.
Adds to that storage factor. You're backing up on the school.
Yep.
So
it's chilly out here.
You're going to be stable. You know, some people are going to like.
No, I went to school there, right?
Some people are going to like having the school behind them. Other people won't. But for the most part, it's going to be about a neutral. You know, there's not going to be a big to-do.
So yeah, I just took note that there's a newer AC unit, not super old. I don't even know if this house probably had AC when it was built, but
not when it was originally built, but they probably added it later on.
So that's some of the things we look at. If there was a basement, we'd definitely take a look at the basement and the condition of the foundation. Externally, you know, you check out the roof, check out the condition of the siding and what you would typically do to it. Me, I like to, sometimes I paint the siding and everything, but it look pretty good. Not the newest wiring coming up from that box, but you know, what you would expect in a house of this age. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up the video, but thanks, Rich, for sharing your insight and knowledge once again. And
you guys again.
And we got some people showing up, so here we go. Yo, this is Will Motivation. Just wanted to say thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And also feel free to share this video with your friends and be a part of the movement. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Holla.